At an unprecedented high level, that's how Russian President Vladimir Putin described the relationship with China. Hello, I'm Anand Naidu, and this is The Heat. In his visit to Moscow, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi met with his Russian counterpart, Sergey Lavrov, and was hosted by President Vladimir Putin at the Kremlin. They discussed the strategic partnership between the two countries, proposals for the Korean Peninsula, and their disagreements with the West. CGTN's Jack Parrock reports from Moscow.
It was a show of unity between Russia and China, while both countries are facing complicated relations with the West. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi strongly criticized the US for proposing tariffs on 1,300 Chinese exports.
The
Chinese and the US economies have been deeply interrelated, with both sides' interests highly intertwined. The US is wrong by attempting to benefit from protectionism. Both China and the US are the world's major countries who should respect each other and treat each other as equals. The US is wrong again in picking China as its target of trade sanctions.
Amid the tariffs dispute, China and Russia also addressed other issues. The ministers discussed efforts to conduct a so-called double freeze regarding the DPRK, where they persuade Pyongyang to scale back its nuclear tests for South Korea to end its US-backed military drills. The meetings here in Moscow come ahead of a summit of the two countries on the Korean Peninsula on April 27th. Before that, though, DPRK Foreign Minister Ri Yong-ho will come to Russia to meet with Sergey Lavrov. Meanwhile, Russia is in the middle of another diplomatic issue. Last month's nerve agent attack on a former Russian spy and his daughter in the UK. Lavrov says he'll use any means necessary to protect Russian interests. Moscow's proposal to conduct a joint investigation into the incident was rejected at the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons in The Hague.
We are not interested in a confrontation or the escalation of an arms race, but Russia will defend its interests, sovereignty and independence purposefully and effectively by using the whole arsenal of means at our disposal.
And experts say these trying times for Russia and China only serve to push the two countries closer together.
When there is a confrontation period or what I call Cool War between Russia and the West, Russia needs China, and China as well needs Russia. So it's a logical interest, and also one of the important elements of this cooperation will be further discussions on strengthening military cooperation between two countries.
Russia and China also used their meetings to discuss Syria and Afghanistan and to prepare for a state visit of Russian President Vladimir Putin to China in June. Jack Parrock, CGTN, Moscow.